Well, that looks a little different. Hey guys, Cloud here again with an update on what's looking to be a rather solid solution to our woes. In my last video, I covered the nerf to chaining explosions, and introduced the new form of our build using Avatar of Fire and weapon swap trees to build separately for clearing and for single target damage. Now, our clear capabilities took a beating, since we lost a lot of our ability to project damage across the field with the patch. So, the solution is to invest in more damage projection. The obvious conundrum there is that damage projection like chaining explosions doesn't grow on trees. And then someone in my chat linked me a clip from Carnarius of him AOEmaxxing with the strike implicit mace. It sounded like he thought it might get nerfed, but I don't think so. I think that's just how AoE works for us, and I suspect that's how warrior clear is meant to be balanced. That might be why there's so many AoE nodes in our area of the tree, especially in the context of weapon swap trees, allowing us to build separately for clear. Of course, it takes a lot of passive points to take so much AoE. I felt like my damage output was in the right place, so I'd have to give up my defenses if I wanted to move my points around. And I didn't really want to do that because I liked the tankiness of having max block. But did I actually need it? If I could sit here and take this, I don't think I really did. So, I AoE maxed. And now we're back to clearing the screen again. Clear is feeling fantastic. It's really quite a simple solution. It's not free like the explosions were. I did have to cut a bunch of defense to do it. But it actually doesn't matter as much as you'd think. Damage projection is an offense is the best defense kind of deal. If we're constantly moving and constantly blowing up the screen, we're probably taking even fewer hits than before with max block. And most of those defenses are reclaimed for pinnacle bossing as part of my single target weapon swap tree. Here's a great illustration of why Armour Explosion is still valuable to us. The Stampede Slam covers a large part of the screen, but since I'm able to one-hit stun these targets, I get explosions towards the edge of the screen which expand the coverage even further beyond. And there's more. With AoE investment, our single target damage while clearing is also boosted significantly because of how AoE interacts with Stampede. Stampede's distance traveled remains constant, while your AoEs get larger and larger. This means it self-shotguns, and with enough AoE, you could potentially hit a single target with every portion of the attack. That's 3 footsteps, the slam, then the 3 dragged ground explosions. And together, that's almost as much base damage as a perfect strike, without any of the timing implications, and with way more radius. That doesn't include the ignite, of course, but you can spam stampedes faster than you can perfect strikes. Now, I'm sure this is not new information. I can only imagine anyone who's been using Stampede this whole time with a lot of AoE could tell you this. Regardless, I'm still surprised at how powerful it is. I think Stampede may just be the all-around strongest mace ability right now. Also, with the amount of AoE we have, it's become much easier to safely proc our explosions even at lower gear levels, since we can more easily land multiple hits on targets while running alongside them, avoiding any uncomfortable body blocking. This means we no longer need the rather weak Stomping ground support in combination with Crushing Blow, just to help provide explosions on the 2-hit stun edge cases. When those edge cases previously arose, we needed that combo to be able to kill potential body blockers on our first footstep when stampeding into a pack. And with Crushing Blow no longer necessary, if we want, we can take not only the Aftershock Ascendancy, but also Ancestral Empowerment for even more AoE and damage on every other stampede. That said, we probably do want to respec to the Health Ascendancy for pinnacle bossing, and probably the Armor Ascendancy as well. By the way, we can hit Bubble Boys with our perfect strikes from outside their bubble now. This is actually huge, because Bubble Boys are one of our weaknesses. Previously, you'd have to go all the way into the bubble and execute an extremely long perfect strike to kill them, during which you were vulnerable to all of the rare's other abilities. Here's my new gem sets for Stampede and Perfect Strike. Having removed Stomping Ground, we've moved Primal Armament over to Stampede and used Close Combat for Perfect Strike instead. And here's the new passive trees. There are some significant pathing changes compared to the previous trees, as well as more variance between the weapon set specs. Check the description for a planar link including them and the gem sets. I've had a lot of asks about using Momentum on Stampede, and while it isn't the worst choice, I don't think it's a great choice for us since it doesn't affect our Armour Explosions. It only supports skills you use yourself. Likewise, Tremor support is not great here since it doesn't support our explosions either, nor does it support any part of the Stampede besides its main slam. Beyond that, we're already getting aftershocks through other sources. We get 30% from quality on Stampede, plus 22% from the tree, and another 20% if we're taking Earthbreaker. At that point, we actually lose damage on average from Tremor support because of its 35% less damage multiplier. That's all for now. I'm feeling quite good about the build in its current state, but at the rate we're moving, who knows what tomorrow might bring. Actually, I suspect that a pure physical, no explosion, shotgun Stampede build would be extremely good. I'd expect it to be not as good at single target or clear as this build with weapon swap tech. But I think such a build might be the best one button, no swap build for warriors. That'll be something I might want to explore further. Stay posted, Exiles.